So you put your finger down their throat, you hook your finger into those teeth, and you pull it out the whole tongue, and then you get with an old toothbrush and you get the slime off the teeth. You get the slime out of the that whole pharyngeal region, so that the teeth are nice and clean.
Coffee's ready.
So we've just had a lovely chat with Douglas Fudge, King of the Hagfish.
Yes.
He wouldn't mind being called that.
No, I'm a bit of a fanboy.
You are, and then, that was a bit that we'll be missing from the episode, is that we didn't let him go for at least another hour because I couldn't keep you out the room.
No, but I don't think he was sort of itching to get away either.
No, I think he was keen to talk.
He wasn't looking at his watch at any time.
I hope not.
Or looking uncomfortable or shifting a lot in his seat.
So there were two things that came up in that interview. One was that key piece of footage from Vincent Simpson and the team here's work with Bruvs, which was the first. There's been one since, but the first predator-prey interaction with a shark biting a hagfish and getting it.
Shark, and then a number of other teleos and sharks as well.
So no, that was instrumental, and hearing Douglas talk about it as well, of like how much that informed what he was looking at and his understanding of the predator-prey interaction.
All we had up until then was hypothesis.
Yeah.
And this was actually proof positive. And the direct predation.
And then the other one that came up was the Goliath, which is something I know you're very proud of, because 10 years ago when I was just a visitor, that was one of your proudest beasts in a tank.
Yeah. Yes, we show it to some of our Asian visitors, and they just sort of go, "Whoa!" They can't believe that myxinids get that big.
Yeah.
Chunky, 6-point-something kg,
yeah,
1.3 meters, something like that.
Kind of that sort of diameter, and then is it 1 meter 20, something like that?
3, I think, is the longest we've got.
1.3
total length, yeah.
So it's a good,
over 6 kg.
Good hefty hagfish.
Yeah. But the more you study them, the more you sort of think, damn, these things are fascinating.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, first impressions are this is Frankenstein's sausage that's come to life sort of thing. It's alive. But then you realise, well, it's a study in reduction.
Well, that's it, because even beyond hagfish, they inform so much about the origin of fishes, what's important, what you can get by on without. And then I find it really interesting that they've regressed, in fact, though. So they were the proto-fish, they were the first beginnings of everything. Everything else radiated and became more advanced. And they have found their niche by actually becoming more primitive. I know that's a loaded term, but they've lost their eyes and things like that.
And they retain the characters that they had right back at the start. It wasn't as though they sort of had them and then dumped them. I was put onto this paper of a myxinid and a lamprey fossil from China, and very, very fine sedimentary rock. And you can see the gill pouches, and you can see the slime pores. And this is the only chordate that's retained that out of that massive explosion in the Cambrian, where let's just experiment. And instead of saying, hey, that really worked well, we'll continue with that, they've kept it. And all the other chordates have gone off and, no, we'll develop jaws.
Yeah, all these fancy things.
Yeah, we'll get fancy. And the chordates sort of took off. But the myxinids basically sort of said, we're going to stick with what works. And certainly the slime pores and the thread cells work. New Zealand's fauna going from 3 species to 9 now. That's quite something. We're one of the hot spots in terms of numbers of species.
And is that just because we're looking?
That could well be. That's what came out of this deep pot work and the work that was funded by the Marsden funding that had Vincent and co. going from the Kermadec down to the Auckland Islands. I think Vincent did this maths. He said, if laid end to end, we measured something like 250 meters, linear meters of hagfish. I counted something like 16,000 slime pores.
This sounds like Sausage Fest. This sounds like our competitive sausage eating.
It really was. But when you actually look at hagfishes, how they're preserved, they really are not treated well in museum collections. People just sort of go, hagfish, toss it into formalin. So it pickles in a kind of, looking like a Bratwurst sausage, all wrinkly, and the slime pickles on it. And you try and count slime pores on something that's sort of fixed like that, and you're trying to open out the wrinkles. Is there a slime pore in there? Open there.
And it's someone else's specimen, so you don't want to really be rough with it.
Really want to crank it. Whereas we spent days and days and days with little paring knives, using the back of them to scrape the slime off the outside, and then put your finger down the throat.
This is the bit I wanted to get onto. Tell us about brushing their teeth.
So you put your finger down their throat, you hook your finger into those teeth, and you pull it out the whole tongue, and then you get with an old toothbrush and you get the slime off the teeth. You get the slime out of the that whole pharyngeal region, so that the teeth are nice and clean. Now, we wondered whether or not they were sufficiently dense that we could perhaps X-ray them, so you didn't have to cut them open on specimens that have been preserved. But no matter how we baked them, we couldn't see them. So what we were doing was we were pulling out the tooth pads, we're giving them a good scrub, and then we were recording the number of multicusps and unicusps and all those. And then, of course, obviously the whole thing goes poof back inside the minute you let it go. But we've laid out our hagfish. They're pickled nice and straight. They're pickled clean.
Some of the cleanest, straightest hagfish in the world.
And we've now got 2 500-litre tanks dedicated to and holding nothing but mixinity. So
Nothing but hags.
Yeah.
And I had to put that protocol into an email to other people and hope that they take me seriously.
It is. I mean, it is well worth
Get a
the
toothbrush.
effort. Yeah.
And they were on a boat, so they had to sacrifice somebody's toothbrush.
Yeah. It's just so much worth it at the other end. Right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Till the next one.
Till the next one, bro.